Welcome back to Can't Stop Talking podcast. Happy October, my little witches. You guys know this is my favorite month. I freaking love October. I love being a witch. I love helping you manifest whatever the fuck you want and literally being witchy witches together. And so happy October. And you guys have already manifested something. This is one of my highly requested, maybe my most requested podcast episode actually ever. And I'm so excited to deliver it for you guys because if I found this episode 10 years ago, it would have changed my whole life. And so this podcast episode is how I manifested my 20-pound weight loss and kept it off in the most easy and effortless way ever. And this is so fitting because my business is having an upgrade. As you guys know, I have a membership called Double Your Sales in 90 Days with Manifestation. And this was for entrepreneurs. And the success stories from this membership floored me. My clients were not only doubling their sales, some of them were tripling their sales in 90 days, but they were manifesting so much more. Money out of thin air, homes, followers, confidence, new jobs, literally everything you could want. And I was asked so many times, like, I really want to join the membership, but I'm not an entrepreneur. What do I do? And I was like, you know what? My calling is to teach everyone manifestation, is to have every single person get everything they want in this life. And so with that, there was a new name to the membership, Manifest That Shit University. Anyone can join who wants to manifest anything into their life. And with that, I also created a free community. So if you want to come check out the free community first, there will actually be a free Q&A in the community next week. And if you watch this or listen to this podcast episode and you're like, oh my God, that was freaking amazing, but I have so many more questions to ask Samantha, come into the free membership. There's already trainings in there. It's going to be amazing. And so you can choose. You can come into the free membership or come into the paid, come into both. You know, if you're like, I just want the freaking formula to manifestation. I want it all. I want, to manifest every of my wildest desires before 2026. And you're like, I'm all in. Then go into the paid membership, Manifest That Shit University, where we're getting shit done. And if you're like, wait, I just want to see what all this magic is about, then come into my free community. Both are freaking amazing. And I'm just so excited to have you guys. So without further ado, I'll leave those links below. Let's get into how I manifested my 20-pound weight loss. And so this story makes me emotional because this not only changed my life, but it changed the way I manifest. It changed my confidence. It changed my body. It changed, honestly, how I see the world. And I trust and I intend that this episode will do the same for you. So since I could remember, I was obsessed with weight loss and obsessed with, calorie counting and food and, thinking about what I was going to eat next and just like the mind chatter of, constantly, how do I lose weight? And I tried every diet in the book since I was like 12 years old till I was 25. Like you name it, I've tried it. Military diet, Whole30, keto, fasting, Special K. I tried my Fitness Pal. I did macros. Like I was never not on a diet. And what would happen is I would be on a diet for a week or 2 weeks, however long I made it. And then I would get to my goal weight, probably, sometimes not even. And then I would binge, on the weekends, gain it all back. And then I would be looking for my next diet. And that was my life for so many years. And I just remember I would wake up and I would be like, what do I eat this morning to lose weight? And then after I eat lunch, after I ate breakfast, I'd be thinking like, what am I going to eat for lunch? And then after lunch, I'd be like thinking about dinner. And it was just this constant like mind chatter all the time of like, how do I lose weight? What do I eat? Like I was just constantly thinking about it and it was driving me insane. And I just want to hug that past version of myself. And I was doing hard workouts. I was working out 5 times a week. I would go to the gym. I would do HIIT classes. I would, try new workouts. And I always stayed away from things like, yoga or Pilates because I was like, it's too slow. There's no way that's going to work. I was always looking for those high intensity things. And I remember I was living in New York and I would wake up at 5:45 and go to a workout class in the pitch dark and then fast till 1 p.m. And I was still heavier than I am now. And if you guys know me, you know I love my bed. Like, I cannot believe that I was waking up that early to go to a workout class and then fasting. Like, I was absolutely miserable. Like, it's just so crazy to think back to where I am now and that I have the results that I've always wanted in a way that was the easiest thing in the world. And so I remember, like, I would go to the HIIT workout class in the morning and then I would be falling asleep at my desk by 3 p.m. And I would turn down dinner plans and I would say no to donuts in the office or pizza. And I just thought, like, if I go out to dinner during the week and if I have one drink during the week, if I eat that pizza in the office, like, I'm going to fuck everything up. Even though, you guys, I was being good, quote unquote. I wish you could see me. I'm making quotes with my fingers. And then on the weekends, I would binge. And so I would literally eat everything. Like, I remember Sundays, I would be so hungover and I would eat everything from, in the morning, we would go out to brunch and then I would take a nap and then we would order food. And then for dinner, we would order more food. And I remember I would go to work on Mondays and my stomach just was like, felt like someone scratched the inside. Like, it was crazy how bad it hurt. And it was just sad because my mind was constantly filled with counting calories, obsessing over what diet to try next, like, how do I find the secret, and constantly just looking for the secret strategy to weight loss. And I would watch, YouTube videos of people who lost weight and like what they ate in a day and their workout plans. And I would, watch all the Instagram baddies and I would just like constantly try and find the solution. And I never could, right? It was just this constant cycle. And I even remember like being like, do I have to give up sugar? Like, I've tried the keto thing. Do I, what if I gave up alcohol, right? All the things that they say. And so the craziest part is COVID hit. And I didn't drink alcohol because when I would drink alcohol, I would be with my family being sad that like I couldn't be out with my friends. And I didn't lose any weight from not drinking alcohol. It was crazy. And so that's when I started thinking like, this is like really interesting, And you guys know I love my alcohol. I love, sleeping in. I love, partying with my friends and, not giving up anything in my life. I really believe that you can have it all and you can have it all through manifestation. And I don't just believe that, I know that. I've seen that with my life. And so I remember thinking like, I was sitting down during COVID and I was like, this is the perfect time, right? To like figure this out. And I remember I was like, why have I never tried manifesting? I was like, I've manifested like everything else in my life. Like, why have I never tried to manifest my weight loss? I've always tried to like white knuckle it and like, do strategy and like just like really get my force results and hustle and do all the things. And I've never tried to manifest it. And so I remember I sat down and I asked the universe for the most aligned lifestyle for me. I remember I asked the universe, like, I want something where I'm not obsessing over food anymore, where I don't have the mind chatter, where it's an actual lifestyle where I'm happy and I can keep the weight off and I'm happy in my body, and just something that like wasn't a diet, but was a whole, life change, right? But that came in the easiest way ever. And so this is a pro tip, like whenever you're stuck in your life, like ask the universe, So I literally was like, universe, bring me the most aligned, strategy for weight loss for me. And so 2 things happened, right? I, one, started saying affirmations to myself in the mirror. And before that point, I don't know if I really believed in affirmations because I would see so much stuff on the internet being like, affirmations are bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And I think I finally was like, let me put this to the test. And that's like my favorite thing about my teaching is I always give you guys strategies that I have tried and are tested. Like, I'm never teaching you guys strategies of like, I read this somewhere, try this out. Like, these are tried and tested things. So I was like, let me try these affirmations, right? And so I would look at myself in the mirror every day and I would look at my body and I would literally say to myself, like, I love my body. I love the way it looks. I love everything about it. I love my flat stomach. Like, I love my body. And why did I do this, right? I did this because I realized that I have friends that are toothpicks, right? That rip their body apart. They are so skinny, and they'll talk about how they're fat, how they're a whale, all this stuff. It's horrible, right? And I realized that they are the skinniest people I know, and they still see themselves this way. It doesn't matter what weight you are. It doesn't matter what weight you ever get to, right? Because the truth is, if I was 20 pounds skinnier, but I still hated my body, I was never going to love my body at any weight, right? And so I realized that I had to first change the filter in my brain to love my body, or I never would. And so if you guys don't know, there's 3 filters in your brain, and there's one for deleting, distorting, and what is the last one? It'll come to me. But basically, if you don't believe, if you don't believe that you love your body, then your brain's going to delete that information. So even if you look incredible, your brain's going to delete that information until you don't look good. And so I remember a story of a girl who, she lost weight. And before she lost weight, she would say like, all my friends, they're so mean to me. Like, boys never come up to me, yada, yada. And she was like, I'm going to lose the weight. So she lost 10 pounds. And she realized that her friends were being really nice to her. Boys were coming up to her. And she said to her friends, like, oh my God, like, how much weight do you think I lost? And they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, we did not even realize that you lost weight. And she was like, what? And they were like, you just started acting nicer and more fun to be around. And you acted more confident. And so we wanted to hang out with you. And in that moment, I realized it's not about the weight loss, right? It's not about the weight loss. She started acting as if she lost the weight, and that's why her reality changed. So I was like, the first thing I'm going to do is tackle my mindset, of course. So I started saying affirmations to myself in the mirror. This is the most interesting part. I would say affirmations to myself the first month. I didn't fucking believe that shit. I would look at myself in the mirror and I'd still be like, I feel the same. I feel the same. And here's where most people go wrong with manifestation. They give up. This is why I created a membership over a course, because I could give you guys a course with everything I know. But I know it's going to happen. You guys are going to, download that course, pay $500, and it's going to be collecting dust on your computer because you're not actually going to put in the work. Like, that's why I really believe manifestation's like going to the gym. Like, you got to keep putting the reps in. And so what happened is after a month, right, I was like, it's a little bit working. 3 months later, I loved my body. I was obsessed with my body. And I was like, and nothing had changed yet. That's the thing. Just my mindset changed, just the affirmations. And so don't listen to anyone who says affirmations don't work. They do. I promise you that. And so the next thing is I was led to read the book, Intuitive Eating. It kind of just fell on my lap. And the craziest thing about this book is there wasn't a lot of people online, fitness people, talking about intuitive eating at the time. And I was so used to, the fitness industry being like, it's calories in versus calories out. That's it. And I'm going to explain at the end, like, why that's not completely true. And they were just so like, this is what you have to eat. Like, this is how you have to work out. Like, if you don't do these things, like, you're never going to lose weight. And so it was really interesting that I was led to this intuitive eating book that no one really talked about, even though the majority of people talked about, calories and weight loss. And what I want to say about this is like, the industry is filled with limiting beliefs. And so even though some people might not be talking about, this small solution and everyone's talking about that other one, doesn't mean that that's true. And so I had to stop listening to the mainstream and go down a different path, listen to my intuition truly to find this. And so the other thing with the book Intuitive Eating that we're going to get into is I had an inkling that this was going to work because I did something that I like to call like mimicking other people's identity. And so I looked around finally at my friends and I was like, let me think about my friends that have their dream body. And I was like, what do they have in common? And so this is what I call mimicking their identity. I think about someone who has what I want and what they do to get there. And so I thought of my friend, I love her, Avery, and she had a great body. I've told her this. And she was never thinking about food. And she would always let herself eat whatever she wanted. I remember she had an obsession in college with like chocolate croissants. So like she was always eating chocolate croissants and she like wasn't ever eating salads or the healthy stuff. And she was going to the gym, but like she was honestly just like walking at the gym, and like her form of exercise is more like walking and like light weights and Pilates and stuff like that. And she loved her body. Like she was talking great about her body. She was, eating whatever she wanted, and she was stopping when she was full, and she was, barely working out in a strenuous way. And I thought of other people in my life who had their dream body, and it was the same thing over and over again. It was people who were eating whatever they wanted. They never talked bad about their body, and they, were barely working out. Like I literally kept going through the people in my life, and I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy, right? And people will say they're just naturally skinny. No, this is what happened. And so the book went on to explain how your body knows exactly what to eat and how much of it to eat. So it'll tell you when you're full, right? And you just need to trust your desires. You need to trust that it knows what to eat. And so I thought to myself, probably what you're thinking right now, it can't be that fucking easy. Like, what are you talking about? It can't be that easy. Like, I can just ask my body what it's in the mood for and then go eat pizza and stop eating when I'm satisfied. Like, I was like, there has to be more to this, right? But here's the thing that I want everyone to listen to. You have to trust the process, right? Because it's the same thing with manifesting. So many of my clients are like, all right, but how do I, believe that I'm going to get what I want if it's not here? That's a whole part of manifesting, right? I didn't believe manifesting was real when I first started manifesting. I had to actually try it out for myself. And then I was like, holy fucking shit. Thing after thing after thing started manifesting, and I couldn't deny it. And now there's no doubt in my mind. I've watched my clients for years manifest things out of my, capability. I'm like, what? How is this possible? But there's nothing that's impossible, right? When it comes to manifesting. And so the truth is, I had to trust the process before I could see the results. And so I had to trust that, doing this, even though it went against everything that I was taught, would lead to weight loss. And that was the hardest part about this. And so basically, what they're trying to say is your body knows what to eat. And you should get the book if you want to like really dive in. But what they mean by this is like, I used to wake up every morning and be like, what should I eat to lose weight? Or what should I eat that's in my calories? And I used to stress about that, right? And I would think like, I should eat, avocado toast with egg because that's what a skinny influencer is eating, right? And I would follow what they're eating. Except I wouldn't even ask myself like, am I hungry right now? Is that what I want? Like, am I satisfied? And so I would always clean the plate. And the craziest thing that I think about now is like, I was probably, sometimes I was counting calories, but sometimes I was probably also eating, big salads that had avocado and salmon and just like, all these calories, and nothing's wrong with that. That's the thing. But like, it's crazy that I thought I was like really eating so healthy when like, I probably, if I just had a slice of pizza, that would have been less calories. And so then I started waking up and asking myself, like, what do I want to eat today? Not what should I eat today? What do I need to eat because, online said that, or that influencer is eating that, or, my workout plan is saying that, my meal plan, whatever. What do I want to eat? And so I woke up and I would ask myself, like, this morning I kind of like want pancakes. And so I would sit and I would eat my pancakes, and I would stop when I was full because I would listen to my body. And I kept doing that. And so the way that I was able to do this after years of not being able to, and like I said, it's a work in progress, it didn't happen overnight, is there was a meditation in the book about a raisin. And it was really talking about like, have you ever put a raisin in your mouth and like felt the ridges of a raisin and like actually tasted like the sweetness and like sat there and like actually tasted the raisin in the present moment? No, most of us are watching TV with our phone glued in hand while eating a burrito, and then we're done and we forgot we even eat the burrito when we're so fucking full, right? And so we're not even thinking, we're on autopilot. And that's the whole reason that I'm having a course coming out next week about being present, because we're not present. We're not trusting our intuition, right? We're not actually listening to our hunger cues. And when we're full, we don't even know. And the craziest thing is when you are present, that's when your manifestations come through too. So I first did that meditation and I was able to like, oh my gosh, like be in the present moment. And the other thing that happened to me that was really interesting, I remember I was home with my parents and I was going to go to a workout class. And I was like, I'm hungry. Like, I need to eat before the workout class. Like, I'm not really hungry. I just want something to eat. So I was like, I can either eat a piece of chocolate. And I was like, that's a bad food. I used to tell myself, like, that's bad or good. So I was like, that's a bad food. Or I could eat yogurt with some granola and, strawberries on top. And I sat there and I was like, wait a second. If I eat the yogurt with granola and strawberries on top, that's like 200 calories. And then a piece of chocolate is like 50 calories. My body wanted the piece of chocolate. My body knew that all I wanted was the piece of chocolate, but I'm telling myself, the yogurt is healthier. And what would happen? I would eat the yogurt and I would be unsatisfied when I could just have the piece of chocolate and be satisfied. And so you guys ask questions on the TikTok that I want to answer. Basically, the wrap up of that story is I realized, like, listen to your body. Your body knows exactly what you want to eat. And once you eat the thing that you want, you will be satisfied. And so the question I got was, how did you tune into your body and your hunger, fullness signals? So that was from getting present, right? The raisin meditation, but also just getting present. And when I was eating, I was asking myself, like, is this, yum, the first bite is good, but like, are the next 3 bites after this, are they still good? Like, am I still satisfied? Because at one point you get from like, this pizza tastes so good to then diminishing returns where like, it doesn't taste as good. It doesn't taste as good as it used to. And here's the thing, over time, you will start tuning into your body and you will notice that you were full. And the thing is, I never have a stomach ache from eating anymore. It's amazing. Like never. Like I never have a stomach ache from eating anymore. And I eat whatever I want. I eat pizza, I eat cookies. Like yesterday I went to Urban Plate and I had mac and cheese. I had chicken fingers for dinner. I had chocolate cake after that. Like literally when I tell you I eat whatever I want, I do. But here's the difference, that I listen to my body. And so they asked, what did you do to replace boredom and stress eating? Such a good question. Right? I realized that I was looking to food to bring me happiness. So when I was hungover on Sundays, the only thing I would look forward to is eating. And I was, looking to food to bring me happiness. But I actually realized that it didn't bring me happiness. Like that's the truth. Like once you realize that, like, ouch, my stomach really hurts when I overeat. Like it's painful. It's not a good feeling. I realized like that was doing less. Like it was easier actually to eat what I want and then stop halfway before my stomach started hurting. And what did I do with the boredom and the stress? You're not bored anymore. Like I'm never thinking like, what's my next meal anymore, right? I'm never stress eating anymore because I've changed the way my, subconscious beliefs look at food. And so the other thing is you're looking at food to give you happiness. You can give yourself that happiness right now. That's the best part about being a human being. We think that we need to chase things, just like I teach in manifestation. We need to chase things, but the only reason that you want anything in your life is because of the feeling it will give you. And so I just started giving myself the feeling that I thought food would give me, right? And so then they asked, did you have the clean plate stop when food is done habit? Yes. And I grew up like that. I grew up with like clean your plate, and I would go to restaurants and I would eat the full meal because I would tell myself I can't eat this tomorrow. And I would, get so full that it would hurt before I found intuitive eating. And then what I did, this was huge. I told myself that I could go to the restaurant, and it wasn't like I would tell the waiter, like, give me a to-go bag before I started eating. No, none of that. I told myself that I can eat whatever I want. So I would order what I wanted on the menu. I wouldn't order, the salad just because. And here's the thing. Sometimes now I do want the salad, right? It just depends. And so I would order off the menu, whatever I wanted. It would come. I would start eating. And once I started getting full, I told myself that I could take it home. And if in 20 minutes I wanted to eat that again, I could. And here's the thing. I would take it home. And in 20 minutes, I wouldn't want to eat it. But guess what? I would eat it the next day. And that right there was so much of my weight loss because I used to tell myself that I cannot have the cookie in the cookie jar. And so what I mean by that is like the reason I was so obsessed with food is because I told myself that I couldn't have unlimited amounts of food. And so it's the same thing done with research of like when you tell a kid like you can have unlimited cookies, they're going to stop after like 2 because it's just not, like I said, diminishing return. It doesn't taste as good anymore. But if you tell a kid like you can only have 1 cookie and you can't go into the cookie jar, they're going to want the rest of the cookies in the cookie jar. And so if you just tell yourself you can eat whatever you want, I just did this with one of my clients. She's already like, oh my gosh, I'm already feeling better in my body. It's crazy. You will realize at first you think that you're just going to eat pizza for the rest of your life, right? But what happens is pizza's not that exciting anymore because you can have it, you could wake up tomorrow and have it for breakfast because there's no more rules. And so she was like, I actually went to a restaurant the other week and I actually asked myself what I wanted to eat and it was a salad. And I'm shocked. I was like, I know. That's what happens. Your body knows what it wants to eat, but like you're not going to just keep eating this stuff for the rest of your life. You're going to realize that once you allow yourself to have it, you get to have it, right? And so I would do that. I would tell myself that, stop when you're full. And if you want this in 20 minutes, you can have it. And if usually 20 minutes would happen and I wouldn't want it anymore. And if I did want it, I would let myself eat it, right? And so that's how I got over it. And so I stayed committed to the process because it was COVID. I had nothing else to do. And months later, I lost 20 pounds. My mind was clear. I didn't think about food anymore. I didn't have stomach aches anymore. I didn't make food my whole world. I didn't make weight loss my whole world. And the craziest part is I don't work out 5 days a week anymore. My main form of weight loss is walking not even weight loss, but yeah, you can call it that. My main form of workout is walking. Now I go to Pilates. Pilates has changed my body more than any HIIT class ever. And here's the thing, I only go to Pilates once a week, maybe twice. And the rest I just walk. I ask myself intuitively, what do I want to do today, right? Do I want to go for a walk? Do I want to go for a hike? Do I want to do Pilates? Do I want to go to the gym, right? And most days it's just going for a walk. And now I eat pizza. I drink wine all the time. I eat donuts, right? Without a second thought. And I'm so in love with my body. And so my client asked me like, how does this work, right? Like, how can I get over the fear of like calories in versus calories out? And the truth is calories are just one piece of the puzzle because we've been taught that weight equals calories in versus calories out, but this ignores stress, hormones, metabolism, sleep, emotions, even the subconscious beliefs that drive food choices. And that's why you obsess over numbers, but that doesn't work in the long run. That's why you have to go from diet to diet, right? Because same thing with business, everyone has a strategy. Everyone's selling you a strategy and there's unlimited strategies in the world. And if it was all about strategy, then we would just follow one cookie cutter business strategy and we'd all be fucking millionaires. It comes down to mindset every single time, whether it's, weight loss, whether it's business, whether it's, attracting the love of your life, whatever it is, it comes down to your mind and manifestation. That's why I'm so obsessed with this stuff. And so the next thing is intuitive eating isn't eating whatever you want and how much you want because it's about rebuilding the trust with your body. And so at first it feels scary. Like I said, like you think to yourself, like, won't I just eat pizza forever? But over time, the body naturally balances out. And because the obsession, the guilt are gone, then you don't stress or guilt eat, right? And you listen to your metabolism and your hunger cues regulate. And so it's just incredible. Like when you actually just listen to your body and your intuition, what happens from there. And lastly, your nervous system feels safe. So you're not constantly stressing about calories. Your body's not in fight or flight, which actually makes weight loss harder because it signals, cortisol to the body and it holds on to that weight and it holds on to that energy. And so when you learn to eat intuitively, it signals safety in your body. And so safety signals balance, and balance allows weight to settle where it naturally wants to be. And so that's why also everything's about, regulating your nervous system, which goes back to manifestation, mindset, all that stuff that I'm obsessed with, right? And so why this changed my life? Because I realized that this was the easiest strategy I had ever implemented. And it got me the best results. And we have been conditioned. I get emotional talking about this. We have been conditioned to believe our whole lives that hard work equals results, because that's what everyone on the internet says. Like, the fitness industry is $1 billion industry. And yes, maybe that worked for them. But like, we even hear this with business. You have to work hard. You have to hustle. You have to give your whole life. There's no work-life balance. And it's just crazy to think that, like, there were no videos out there at the time that said walk and eat pizza and trust your body, right? But that was the key that I was looking for 10 years. And in that moment, I realized that, like, everything's a limiting belief, right? There's no hard evidence that hard work equals results, because actually everything in my life that I've gotten the most results have come very easy to me. Very easy. Like, that's the biggest thing that I want everyone to know, that working hard is a limiting belief. And that's just the truth. And so I took what I learned from my weight loss into my business, right? And that's why, like I said, every single guru on the internet is saying their strategy is the best. It doesn't mean it's the best for you, right? Everything is a limiting belief, even them saying their strategy is the best. And so manifestation and listening to your intuition will always get you the easiest, most incredible results than any strategy ever. And I've seen this with my membership clients. It's insane. They will be pushing, forcing strategy for months, if not years. And then they'll come into the membership, and instead of forcing, the strategy and the hard work, they'll do the manifestation formula, and they will manifest money out of thin air in the easiest way possible. They can't even believe it. Like, I've seen this time and time again. They take their foot off the strategy and they put it into the manifestation, and everything starts happening. And so that's the thing, that the last part about this is follow what lights you up over what feels hard, because that will always bring you the most joy and the most results. And if it's an easy thing for you, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And so after following those rules and getting my dream body that I'm obsessed with, I did the same thing in my business. And that's how I gained, 10,000 followers in 3 months on my last Instagram, how I hit 20,000 followers on TikTok. How I run my whole business is, doing what lights me up instead of, what other people say that I have to do. And this changed my life. And I use this same formula in everything that I do now. And so I just want you to know that it gets to be easy. You get to, have your dream body. You get to eat whatever you want. You get to have it all. And anyone who says otherwise, that's just their limiting beliefs that you don't have to take on. And so if you have more questions, I would be so happy to answer them. Come into the new community. Just come into the new community, because you know that this episode already changed your life, and imagine what more will happen just being my energy. And if you're like, fuck it, I'm going full fucking, and I want this manifestation formula right fucking now. I want to change my life before 2026. I want all the goodness. Then join Manifest That Shit University, where we're just manifesting shit left and right. All the links will be left below. I love you guys so fucking much. And if this episode changed your life, like, subscribe, but also message me. Tell me how it changed your life, because that's why I put these out, and that's what motivates me to keep putting them out. But I just love hearing from you guys so much. So I love you, and have the most incredible day ever.